Alright, now that we've made it to the main event of the, I guess it's the main event of the Dana White's Contender Series evening, we've got Solomon Renfro fighting Jonny Parsons. This is going to be a very exciting stand-up battle. Jonny Parsons, he has a Muay Thai background. He's actually a Muay Thai instructor at Syndicate MMA. Solomon Renfro, on the other hand, he's got a bit of a boxing background. Previously to his last two wins, though, he was winning a lot of decisions and a couple of submissions as well. But he's on a 2-fight knockout streak in the very first round. So let's start talking about Solomon Renfro here. I am concerned that this fight is going to get copyright struck. I can't remember if Cage Fury FC lets me play their footage or not. But I'll just mute it and we'll get into it. So Solomon Renfro, he's got a strong boxing base with very heavy hands. He throws a very high volume of punches with intentions of knocking his opponent out. His one loss comes to Mike Mullet, who recently got signed to the UFC with a first round submission. He spent most of his career at Cage Fury FC against decent levels of competition, where he picked up quite a few decision wins. He's got 5 decision wins, but most recently he's picked up 2 first round knockouts in a row. And in this fight here, which I'm showing you guys against Lee Henry Lilly, he was not scared to stand in the pocket and trade, which is where I think he is best, as his counter-striking is solid and his hands are very fast. It's worth noting that Lee Henry Lilly was also a Muay Thai fighter, and he fights with a very similar stance to what Jonny Parsons is going to as well. So we could potentially see a maybe a repeat of this fight. I mean, who knows, dude? But this is kind of the way that Jonny Parsons fights as well. He stands in the pocket. He throws a lot of kicks. Jonny Parsons throws a lot of kicks, but that's a very lightning fast left hand from Solomon Renfro. Puts his opponent out. I think he got a couple of shots of ground and pound there. And now let's talk about Jonny Parsons. He is a Muay Thai instructor over at Syndicate MMA. He has one of the more beautiful mullets that I have actually seen recently. So I will give him all the respect for that. That is a beautiful haircut. And yeah, man, the mullet is beautiful. But he's also not scared to stand and trade. So he's a Muay Thai instructor at Syndicate MMA. He's got 5 wins by knockout, and he holds a first round knockout over the former Dana White's Contender Series fighter in Tyler Hill, who fought in Dana White's Contender Series in 2018. Parsons, you can see he's got that Muay Thai stance, he's got that Muay Thai style. He's not scared to stand in the pocket and trade. With his Muay Thai stance and style, he throws a decent amount of kicks while standing directly in front of his opponent. This has worked well for him in the past, where he is able to beat his opponents to the punch, which is going to be very interesting to see if he's faster than Solomon Renfro. You guys just saw Solomon Renfro's lightning fast hands, and Hill's got pretty fast hands too. Like, look at that KO. That was pretty sick, man. And yeah, he pretty much just finishes off the job here with a bit of ground and pounds. But I think we're going to see a very exciting stand-up battle between the very boxing heavy Solomon Renfro and the Muay Thai instructor Jonny Parsons. At the moment, I think that Solomon, he's got a very good chance to win if he fights with the fearlessness he had in his last fight, and I could potentially see him catching Parsons somewhere in the fight and winning by KO. So if Solomon Renfro fights like he has in his last 2 fights, quite fearless, relying on his boxing, very confident in his boxing as well, and his ability to finish his opponents, I think that we could see a Solomon Renfro KO win here. Jonny Parsons is definitely not someone to sleep on, dude. Very good Muay Thai background. You guys just saw his win over Tyler Hill. He's got a couple of decent enough wins recently, 12-9. It's not really too bad. I mean, very experienced opponent. He beat a 7-4 guy, not too bad. 10-4, that's the Tyler Hill fight I just showed you. Ty Freeman, who was 11-7 and lost to Chris Cefinos. And Solomon Renfro beat 7-4 guy. I just showed you guys that fight. Nick Ali, he lost to Mike Mullet, which doesn't really look that bad, dude. Mike Mullet, just admit, I think he was a 9-0 guy to Mons Matrisky off the top of my head. I picked Mike Mullet to win by submission, but I did not expect such a dominant display by Mike. And before that, he was just beating decent enough guys on the regional circuit. 3-0 guy, that's a pretty good win. I think at the time he would have been like 3-0, 4-0 himself. So I've got Solomon Renfro by KO. I think a lot of people are sleeping on Parsons, but I'm going to side with Solomon Renfro to get the job done in this fight here. I think it's going to be an awesome fight, and I genuinely can't wait to see it.